It's all right.
I am inside. Matteo, hello.
Hello.
Maria.
Distribute. Hello, hello. I can distribute this link, right?
Lo senti?
Maria?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maria is here.
Okay.
We're live.
We are live. Maria?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
I will publish this link into the platform. I will send via Skype to all the partners who are in Skype active now. Okay?
Okay.
Sì, la versione io. Ma io sono live però.
How are you guys?
Fine, Maria.
Nice to hear. Nice to hear. Okay, okay. Let me see.
C'è da prendere il test? Questo uno.
Non so, in piattaforma.
Sei in casa dentro?
Sì.
È scaricato?
No.
Condividerai il coso? Non so se ti devo preparare qualcosa, ti devo stampare qualcosa.
Stavo vedendo. Dove sta il test?
Modulo 1. Vai sotto, test. Ah, però è così.
Che?
È da fare. Voglio vedere se ho abbastanza di domande.
You see the text panel on your screen because probably people will use it. The text panel.
Which text panel?
See the left part of the screen. There is a blue square with lines. If you press it, you will see on right side a panel for the text messages. So when you talk, people can ask questions or to ask you, give them the floor to share opinion, suggestion or something. In the end, if they have questions, it is the reglement published in the platform. All the time, I ask they to keep microphones and cameras switched off, so the link to be light and good. And if they need to share something, first to ask in the test panel for you to give the floor. Then they will switch camera and microphone, ask the question or say what they want to say, and then switch off, and you to be able to comment or something like this.
Yeah, okay, perfect. I have already opened my chat. I think that you have received my message. I just got chat opened.
Mamma mia.
Fine, you look great.
Però dovevi...
Okay.
Cioè, uno snellente.
Anche la barba l'ho fatto, oggi diventa un hipster. Sì, ma tu hai visto tutte queste due.
Aspetta che qui sono... Accademica. Vedi? Le note mi stavi di?
Questi. I risultati. Risultato del test e valutazione del modulo.
9, 15, 8, 14.
Sì. Fortuna che non mi è piaciuto.
Ah, queste erano le due persone problematiche.
Sì.
E dove stanno qua? Ah, Vera, questa qua.
Vedi. Questo è il voto al test verso il voto al gradimento, no? E ti rendi conto che i voti più bassi che ci stanno, un 9, un 6 e un altro 9.
Perché non è fatto di male per stare impresso negli indici. E un partecipante
Michela, do you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's talking on Skype because someone from Kazakhstan is calling her.
Okay, because from Kazakhstan sent me via Skype a message that actually 11, which is written in the table, it is not 16 but 15 their time. Probably they have not written as we move the time. You see?
Non ho capito.
Che problema col time o l'orario?
E perché?
Yes, because I don't know how they move the time, summer and winter time, and probably this could be a problem because she asked when we will start the class. I said in 30 minutes. Which time is at you? She said 15. It's written 16.
Non ho capito.
15, 16.
Alle 10 deve iniziare, ed era, sono le 3 del pomeriggio. Maria.
Yeah?
Maria, the time is was controlled with the internet, so
Yes, I know. But as you know, they also we move summer and winter time, hour before, hour after. You know, so I don't know. I see Andre is here. Hello, Andre.
Hello.
Hello, Andre. Dove c'era mezz'ora.
Sì. Scusa, che ore sono? Mi Kazakistan, non ho capito. Maria?
Yes.
Вот материал есть.
Kazakistan.
Есть.
Kazakhstan, we have
Сейчас я тоже понял. Ты пока
Hello.
Так, ребята, вы камеру выключите. Камеру выключите.
Колонки есть?
Колонки? Блин. А, есть. Да.
А, здесь нет.
Выключили камеру?
Я выключил.
Ага. Ой, ну вот еще. Пускай тоже зашла по одному. Слава, а как мне выключить без телефона? А как выключить? Это меня не слышно. Меня слышно.
А у вас, Слав, нету там камеры? Ну вот, в отделе нету камеры? Не покупали, да? Не покупали? Да, одна камера. Я жду.
Рассказывай, отключите видео. Рассказывай, отключите камеру. Рассказывай, на камеру отключите.
Я видео... Ой,
Рассказывай камеру, на камеру отключите.
Отключить?
Отключите камеру.
Хорошо. Все? Я отключаюсь тогда.
А можно вдвоем на одну камеру? А, ну все, мы тогда пойдем. Я отключил. А, микрофон.
Валерия Гудбаевна, пожалуйста, выключите камеру.
Я не умею, я просто убрала ее в сторону.
Нет, там где-то есть у вас нарисована камера, пожалуйста, выключите и камеру, и микрофон.
А как я ее выключу? Я не знаю, где она включается. Я просто ее убрала в сторону и все. Можно?
Да нет, все равно же черное видно. Выключите, там есть картинка камеры.
Картинка камер.
Ну, вас слышно на весь консорциум, на всю Европу.
Выключите, пожалуйста.
Уже попробую, я не знаю. Ой, блин. Как выключить камеру? Алло. А. У меня нету картинки такой, которой она говорит. А, у меня выключен микрофон, выключена камера.
Всем выключить камеры и микрофоны.
Звук я выключила. Звук я вот до минимума. Совсем. Красную. А, красную. Красную это телефон тут только. Но это покинуть видеовстречу. Они перекрещено. Все перекрестно, значит, уже выключено. А, вот сейчас выключить. Сейчас еще раз. Выключить.
No, volevo scriverlo qua,
Ma perché non si sente più?
che tutti gli altri hanno chiuso il microfono.
Scrivi qua.
No, è che ho messo lì e si è spostato tutto il coso. Solo se ne va da solo.
Как потому что пригласим максимальное количество участников. У вас нет. Эндро, у него ключ.
Выключи, выключи. Зачем?
Значит, практики сама тебе? Алло, сама? Значит, практики ты разбираешь? Прикол. Студентка будет пробовать.
О, все, я присоединилась.
Good morning. Good morning. Please switch off the microphone. And if you agree,
Пойдемте сюда.
we can start the first virtual class.
Может, вот это убрать? Тогда будет нам всем слышно.
Excuse me. It is possible to virtual class.
Давайте камеру еще.
Может, мы вот так повернуть и вот так сядем?
Надо было сюда сесть.
So we can start. You need to switch off the microphone. Please close your microphone. If you want to talk, you can write.
Maria, I just wanted, Michele, I just wanted to show that the whole team is here.
Oh, great!
Машите.
Hello.
Okay, I will switch on everything.
Thank you very much for your presence, and thank you very much to participate in the ACADEMICA project. We will start officially the first virtual class, and I will give the speech to Professor Matteo Martini. And if you need to ask something, please write to the chat, and then you can talk with your microphone. Okay?
Okay. Good morning to everybody, and let me thank you again for being here, because it's a great pleasure for us to participate and to have organized this first virtual class for the training course of the ACADEMICA project. As an expert of distance learning, let me anticipate you an important thing. This course that we have realized is very important and is almost unique in the panorama of the distance learning today. Just because in every project or in various occasions, we always talk about how to introduce new users to the distance learning world, how we can introduce new university in using this kind of delivery for lesson. And this course is the right answer to introduce new university to join distance learning. Because the course that we have realized all together, all the partners have participated to the preparation of this course, is very, very important, because it includes all the aspects of the distance learning, starting from the beginning, the origin of this kind of delivery, up to the last modern technologies that we are now using. But the other important aspect that always is leave when we prepare this kind of training is the important part concerning the free of use licenses or products that we can find online. I'm saying this just because using and following this training course, at the end of the course, you will be ready to start practically for free using distance learning. And this is the most important result that we have achieved altogether for the ACADEMICA project. And this is very important. Now, after this introduction, I think that we can go strictly to the first point of the agenda. That is the summary of the module 1. This virtual class is at the end of the first module. now, as you know very well at this point, the Academica trainer course is organized into modules. At the end of each module, we will have a virtual class to summarize what we have learned, to discuss about the result of the test. But the most important thing is to discuss between ourselves on our impressions, our feedbacks, and what we have learned, what we have not learned, and why. This is the most important assessment, not only for us, but also to increase the quality of the training that we are doing all together. As Michela has already said to you, this is a virtual class. In the concept of virtual class in distance learning, this is a synchronous event, for sure. And this has to be an interactive event. I'm saying this just because if you have any questions, any doubt, or everything you want to ask to us, please write this on chat in this part, and we will stop our speech just to answer if this is important also for the other guys. We will have also a time slot to discuss all together, and in this part, if you want to ask something, to us, you can ask to turn on your microphone and we will discuss together. Let me go to the first module. As you know, the first module is a very important part because is the content of the module is the e-learning evolution. Why we started from this point? Because as I have already said, to understand where we are now and what are the technologies that we can use today to have our distance learning, because as you have learned during this first module, today distance learning is not only a different way to deliver lessons. Today distance learning is, let me say, a real science or a real educational way that is completely different from the traditional face-to-face learning. Why this? As we have learned during the first module, at the beginning of the distance learning, we started using this way for its social aim in a certain sense. This means that distance learning began just to deliver lesson or an academic level training to all people that had not the possibility to go inside the traditional universities or to follow directly face-to-face lessons. And for this way, at the beginning, we started recording traditional face-to-face lessons, but we move rapidly from this point. Let me stress that we start with the distance learning as a massive way of making learning more or less during the 80s. This means that in 30 years, we completely revolution this way of make learning. And during this first module, we start with the traditional face-to-face lesson, record the traditional face-to-face lesson, but we go through all the different evolution of the distance learning, the computer-based training, the web-based training. All these parts are strictly related to the evolution of technologies, because if you think, as I have said, we started around 80s, and if you think the evolution of the technology that we observed in the last 30 years, we started practically with computers that are not so spread out on the people. Internet is not so well known. Today we move toward what we define as Web 3.0. That is a completely different way, not only of making web and thinking web, but also, and especially in this context, we can exploit this evolution to make a most effective learning. During this first course, we move also to through the massive course, the massive open online courses and all their variation. the selective private online course, the small private, the selective open online courses. These are all variations of the well-known massive open online courses, and still today these kind of courses are used to deliver specifically type of courses. For what concern the university level, for sure these kind of courses are no more used. But as you have learned during the various topics of this first module, now we exploit what? Especially audio lesson and video lessons. But the most important things that you have always to keep in mind is in the fact that today every learning object that is used in distance learning is specifically realized for distance learning. We are no more mimic tools, learning object, or also concept from traditional learning. We have now a different way that is parallel to the one of the traditional learning, just because the final aim that we have is exactly the same. We have to transfer knowledge. Students, pupils, workers, whatever is our final subject in which we are preparing this training, has to acquire knowledge. This is our final aim, and this is exactly the same both for traditional learning and for distance learning. But now we proceed on parallel way. On parallel way because we prepare and deliver learning objects that are specifically prepared for distance learning. This is the changing in the philosophy of the distance learning that has started, let's say, more or less between 5 and 10 years ago. Because we stopped to mimic traditional learning and we understood that traditional learning is a different way of doing learning. And it is the most important result that you have always to keep in mind, not only now, but when this course will finish and you are ready to adopt distance learning to modernize your curricula. Just to open a small parenthesis, this kind of course is surely prepared for the update of the curricula in the scientific field, and especially for the engineering courses. Obviously, this course can be attended also from other instructors involved in various courses. But the most important part related, for example, to the virtual laboratories, to the multimedia production, the simulations, the role games, are prepared and realized for the update of the engineering curriculum. But the solution exported and explained in this course can be used in every kind of course. Another important aspect that is being touched during this first module is the one related to the e-learning concept. That is the topic 5 of this module. Why it's so important? Because during this topic, we went through the different role that we have in a distance learning class. If you think at the role of the teacher that we normally use during traditional learning, this kind of learning was, for its tradition, a teacher-centered learning. Just because the teacher is in the center of the class, and then you have all the students just around you. In distance learning, what we have always to do is realize a student-centered learning, in which the student is in the center. Now we move from a teacher-centered learning to a student-centered learning. And this is an important concept in distance learning. Just because with the powerful and exploiting modern technology, you have the possibility to update and to customize your learning on each single student. How we can do that? Surely customizing the lessons for each student, but especially using the assessment. During the course, we will go through also the self-assessment object that has been used for distance learning, and using self-assessment and using technology, for sure, we can exploit database and technology just to customize the learning path of each student, following it directly. This is a very important thing, just because when you think about distance learning, you think as a way of learning in which there are no interaction between students and instructor. This is completely wrong. Why? Because, first of all, using self-assessment, you have the possibility to customize your learning on each single student. You have the possibility to interact with your students just to customize learning, just to help students to move around or pass through these stumbling blocks. And then, why we don't have any interaction between students and teacher? If you think that today, in the era of Web 2.0, and that is the era of the social network in a certain sense, our students, but not only our students, every one of us, usually spend large time during this day talking with peers, with colleagues, with friends, with whatever you want, using what? Using chat, using Facebook, using WhatsApp, or every tool that you have in your mobile phone. This means that today we chat and communicate in a different way. And in distance learning, we exploit this new technology just to communicate with our students. So in a certain sense, we are using something that is well known to our students, because we are using the way that they normally use to chat with their friends. This means that we are, in a certain sense, and concerning the communication in distance learning, we are more friendly with respect to traditional learning. And this is the structure of the skeleton of the first module that we have studied in this training course. And in the next module, we have a large amount of concept, arguments, things, just because, as I already said, due to the strong and powerful research and development that has been done on distance learning, today we have a very complete way of making learning. This means that we have different aspects not to be used all to modernize our curricula, but we have to explain to you every aspect of distance learning, just to be sure that you know the field in which you are gonna start your activity. So, just to say that, don't worry about the large amount of arguments and the large amount of concept that we are delivering to you during this course. This is important just to know where we are going to move. These concepts are not to be used all together to modernize our curricula, but we have to know which is the way that today is used, for example, to communicate to our students. Then we have to decide which is the most suitable way that we want to apply to communicate to our students. We can think to use a social media type of learning, or we can use a mobile learning, or we want to decide to use, for example, a different type of self-assessment. Respect to my colleague, that for each subject or for each concept, learning concept, he preferred to use something that is different for what I decide to use. This means that using this course, and at the end of this course, you will know what is distance learning today. And then you will be able to decide how to modernize your curricula using distance learning or a part of distance learning. You have just to modernize your curricula. This does not mean that you have to revolution your course or your way to do lessons. You have to know which are the possibilities that today we have. And then you are free to decide which type of technology you want to use in your lesson. You want to add something?
Okay, thank you. I don't know if you have any questions to do now. If you have some question about the module, the first module. Everything is right? So do you have had some difficulties or okay? You can please, Balia, you can switch on your microphone and please.
Hello, I have switched on. Am I okay with you now?
Thank you.
Thank you, first of all, for this great possibility. I think this is a very valuable course, not only in the content-wise, you see, but also through the form you organize it. Because in this way, we are exposed to the new technologies in action, multimedia, etc. But I have a problem with the formats. You see, in my PDF, so presentations, so I need something to copy, some kind of word maybe, to copy the most useful.
Sorry, because somebody has the microphone. Please, we need the microphone off. Sorry for my pronunciation. I just to the microphone off. Otherwise, we can't reach your colleagues. Not Bala, it's not your problem, but there is somebody else with the microphone on. I believe me.
Okay, can I ask the question?
So,
yes, if it could be possible for me to copy the selected pieces of information and to study them on my own, you see, so in the quiet of my, you see, just so not in this rush of multimedia space. So, can I make myself clear?
So,
no word format. No. In addition to
you can anyway, if you need more time to study and to read, you can download the lecture notes.
Yeah, I did.
Inside the presentation.
Okay,
you can study also by yourself. But anyway, it is important to listen and to the lesson, because you can understand the way how to arrange, or you can miss some important concept that you can't find in the lecture notes. So, but it is the lessons are not so long. Okay.
Okay.
And because sometimes it is 20 minutes, it's not more, and you can listen these lessons in a different way, in a different time, in one time or two times, if it is long. So The important thing is that you need to listen the lessons and
yes, if I can add a suggestion, listen at least once each lesson, just because during a lesson, an audio lesson, a video lesson, no, that is what we have to do then in our lesson. We have some additional value given by the presenter, because, for example, when I prepare and I do my lesson, I say something more that is not written on the slide, just because when you talk, you open parentheses, you say something.
Okay, yeah, I see. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if you listen and you take notes on the slide on the additional information, so listen at least once, you have the complete scheme of the lesson.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know if you have any other questions.
Ci sono altri quelli dell'Uzbekistan che hanno problemi perché non facciamo riferire al sistema.
Non lo so. So the second part, the second point in the agenda is the sharing of comments and feedbacks on previous and current experience. And I think that now we really are in the most interactive part of this virtual class. And I think that now you have to share your experience not only with this module, not only on the aspect of these modules, but also on the previous experiences that you have with distance learning. Why this part is so important? Because we have to know not only for our feedback, what is your response about the course, the module, but also what is your experience on distance learning, just to know what is your background. Because in this way, first of all, we can better calibrate our lessons, our way of make lessons or teaching. But it is important also to share experience between every one of us. I'm personally very interested to know what is the status, for example, in your university, if you have previous experiences with distance learning, how you intend distance learning, and just we are now for sure at the end of the first module. But if you have an idea at the end of this first module, how you will update or modernize your subject using the tips and tricks that we explained you during this first module. So everyone want to say something, ask us, turn on the microphone once per time, because otherwise it's impossible to understand. The representative expressed the opinion that it was very interesting to know about the history of learning. They find presentation useful. Someone has experience with distance learning. Guys, don't worry. Say something. We have to share our experience. For example, I'm using distance learning since more or less 7 years. I started in 2010 in Guglielmo Marconi University, and before 2010, I used only traditional learning. I completely ignore traditional learning. So for sure, I know that there is the way to make lessons using distance learning, but I have completely no experience on distance learning. I started in 2010 and I enjoy this word. I start studying, because the most important aspect of distance learning is to be always updated about modern technology, modern pedagogy, modern way to make a lesson. Today we are living a very exciting moment, because now the most important trend in distance learning is the one related to augmented technology, virtual reality, and mixed reality. Now we are talking about mixed reality. This is the following step that we want to explore from a technology point of view, but for sure from a didactic point of view. During the training course, you will have some lessons about virtual reality and virtual lab using 360 degrees videos and augmented reality. Is a very powerful opportunity that we have for distance learning. And we have some questions. We can stop talking.
Our experience is limited to distance learning.
MOOC.
Experience attended to MOOC.
Google, like Cisco. What do you think, for example, about MOOC? For example, during the training course, you will have, I think, a lesson from me on massive open online course. I'm not excited about MOOC. I really don't like it. But as you will see during MOOC is interactive. This is true. But as we will see during these lessons, in my opinion, MOOC are a very important type of course from a social point of view, because you are spreading out the possibility to acquire knowledge to everyone, everywhere. You have the only things that you need is a computer connected to internet. This is, from a social point of view, is fantastic, because everyone has the possibility practically to enter inside the university classroom. But from a distance learning point of view, and when I say distance learning point of view, I mean the way in which we make lessons to our students, not only to spreading the knowledge, but only to make lesson, transfer specific knowledge about an argument, a curriculum, a course, a subject, whatever you want. MOOC is not the right solution, because the most important problem of MOOCs today is the retention rate. MOOC started with thousands of students at the beginning, and less than 3% arrives at the end, just because are massive. You have no interaction with teachers. You have not the possibility to be followed during your study. If you have a question, you are one over thousands, and you have not the possibility as instructor to follow specifically each single student. They are open. Open is a very important thing, a very beautiful thing, no? And concept. But open means that I am a physicist. I work on high energy physics. I make detector for particle physics. I can participate to a MOOC on ballet. Surely, yes. But I follow the first lesson, and that I understand that this kind of arguments is not so important for me, or is not considered so interesting for me. One lesson, first lesson, second lessons, then I keep out. I drop out from the massive open online course, and I count as dropout for the course. If we perform, for example, the variation on the MOOC concerning, for example, the selective open online course, in which we make a selection, this is not a closing of the MOOC because you cannot enter in my MOOC. No, it's not a selection of this type. It's a selection to understand what is your interesting. If you are suitable, adapt, and prepared, and really interested in the arguments that I will study during this MOOC. In this way, I'm sure, pretty sure, that you will arrive at the end of the course. You will learn something that is important for you because you like it, it's interesting for you, you need it for your work, for your job, for your updating, and in this way we have a most effective way of learning. Reducing the number of students inside a MOOC into a SPOC for sure, I have also the possibility to better follow and better interact with my students. And this is my personal opinion about MOOC, but I repeat, this is my personal opinion. Every one of us has different arguments about MOOC or different impression about massive open online course. This is your opinion.
This is another.
Svizik, which is very interesting application. But I think that we can even say to the if you want to turn on your microphone, we can discuss about this point. We have some minutes to discuss together.
Ой, sorry. No.
Yeah, if you have some critique about the course, you can even give us critique because we have to grow up together. So it is very important to hear also critique on the length of course, arguments, whatever you want. But please consider that this. Yes. I'm saying that please consider that this course has been prepared, realized, and recorded by every partner in this project. And this is the most important part and the most important aspect that you have always to keep in mind. Distance learning permits you to create collaborative learning. This is another important keywords that you will hear during your experience in distance learning. Collaboration with peers, with colleagues, between students, among teachers. Collaborative learning is another important way and another important aspect that we have to always to keep in mind to prepare and deliver a very suitable and success distance learning. Maria is saying something about MOOCs. Another point of view is the accreditation of the knowledge and skills. I completely agree with Maria because the cost of the production of the MOOC is quite high. But as you probably started hearing during the first modules, and we always repeat during the entire training course, the most important way today make the most technologies advanced or the most better distance learning is not cost-free, because to prepare professional video lecture, for example, you have to have a real recording studio. This means that the cost to make the most updated distance learning is very high. But this is the top level in cost, in quality, in effectiveness of the distance learning. But we have a very large grade, a very large scale of different type of distance learning and different cost of distance learning. Now, as we will learn during this course, there are a large amount of way in which we can update our course. We can start making distance learning in such a way, in different way, like for example, using social media, using audio lecture, or using whatever you want, that are, thanks to the arguments that we have touched during this course, are completely cost-free. Our final aim in this course is not to teach you how, for example, how we are cool making this multimedia product, multimedia laboratory, realized in green screen, in which we spent, for example, 100,000 euros to prepare this virtual lab. Surely, this is a very cool and very beautiful and very effective way of making distance learning. But it's not open to all. You have a huge amount of way to make distance learning that is completely cost-free and are effective. This is the message that you have to learn and transmit from this course. There are a large number of ways that are completely cost-free because it exploits, for example, open source things that you have on internet, or software, or ways that are already in our computer, in our laptop, and these are completely cost-free. The most important things that you have always to keep in mind is that you have never to forget your fantasy. You have to want to use distance learning, because if you want to use distance learning, you use your fantasy, and you can find a very large amount of way to make a distance learning practically cost-free. And this is the final aim of the course. The real final aim of the course is this one, giving to all the possibility to update their curricula using distance learning. But if you have to give to all this possibility, you have to give to all the possibility to make this cost-free, or quite cost-free with a minimal investment. But the large amount, the large quantity of solutions that you will find in this course are completely cost-free. Some other questions? Motivation is very important. I really agree with you, Aisulu. Maria, 4 days course organized cost 600 euro per participant. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. 4-day course, 600 euro. It's completely not usable. I think that now we can go, if you have no more questions, I can go through the...
Hello.
Hi, scherzo.
Hello. So somebody had some problem with the connection. Hello.
Hello.
So if you don't have any question about the module 1, we can introduce and discuss about the test. Anyway, everybody has had a good job with all the module 1 about the assessment and also the test. So, do you want to add something about the test?
Yes, I want to make a comment about the test. Because, first of all, about the questions, if you have questions about the part of the assessment that you have difficulties to understand or which you want to comment something, please make it, because it is important for our feedback. But I want to also give you my personal comment about the test, because we have 122 students, people that are following our training course, this module 1, and that's for which we have the results of both of the test and a grade on the module 1. a test, a comment that I make. No, it's a numeric value. Let me give you the average result because it is very important. We have 122 students, and average of the test for this first module is 8.5 over 10. Is a very high results. This means that the arguments of the course of these first modules are for sure well understood, and the response that we obtain from this first test is very encouraging for us. This means that the argument has been treated in the correct way. You have followed the course with the right, let's say, with the right way, and ready to understood what we are delivering to you. And this result, 8.5 over 10, is very, very important for us, for you, and for the Academica project. I have also the results on the grade that you give us for this first module. In this case, the scale is between 0 and 16. The average that you give us for this first module is 13.5. 13.5 over 16. A very, very good results. And this is not an important result for us. This is an important result for the entire project. This means that we worked well with Academica in preparing and delivering this course. And you have appreciated this first module, but I think that these results will continue and also increase during the next modules, because this is the most important results and feedback for us. Thank you for these results. Thank you for following this course. And if you have any questions related to the final test, related to the modules, the next module, if you have curiosity, you want to know something about the evolution of the modules of the next module that we will follow during the next days, please ask us. Now we are completely available to answer to every question.
I see the question here.
No, I have no question here. I understand.
Yes, of course, 8.5 is not too bad. But
8.5 is not so bad. Guy.
Can you repeat, please? I understand. Repeat, please.
Yes.
Not the average, but no, I'm reading the comments from it. Who proposed to keep the best results of 2 attempts, not the average, but the best results. Let's say the average is 8.5, but I have prepared also a plot. I'm a physicist. I'm quite crazy, and I can share my screen, sure.
So just one moment.
You can see this plot. In this plot, you have on this axis the results of the test. And as you can see, the large part of the result is between 8 and 10. You have some down peak but this peaks is only for guys that have not finished the test. Don't worry about this. 0 is not a real 0. You have a very small amount of results that are below 8. I can count it. If I reject the 0, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, or 122. We are talking about less than 10%. And also the results that we have, the 13.5 that I really talked to you about the grade and the appreciation of the module 1. This is the average, but the spread of the results is very narrow in a certain sense. This means that the average is this one, okay, but you can say me, if I have a value that is 10 and the value that is 0, the average is 5, which is more or less sufficient. No, because the results that we obtain for the grade is very narrow. This means that the average that you have is 13.5, but from a statistical point of view, the sigma is very narrow.
Okay, we are...
yes, before closing, Maria want to say something?
Please, Maria.
Hello, everybody. Do you hear me well? I hope so. Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank to all the trainees who expressed their interests and joined to our course. And second, I would like kindly to remind the trainees that they have assignment, and this assignment includes 2 tasks. So the grading of the assignment will be provided in the beginning of the next week, because we should be able to know the results from task 1 and task 2. Please be patient. You will have your grades, but in the beginning of the next week. Thank you very much to our moderators, Michela and Professor Matteo Martini, and my colleague Michela Tramonti, for the nice virtual class. Greetings to all the teams from our partners in Central Asia. Greetings to all participants from European organizations. Also, they see us via YouTube channel. And for those who didn't make possible to take part in this live virtual class, it is recorded, so the link to the record of the virtual class will be published in the platform. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
So we can
just I'm answering to Balia, because she said that 8.5 over 16 is very low. No, the results of the test is 8.5 over 10. The grade, the results, the opinion that you sent to us concerning the module 1 is 13.5 over 16. The scale is different for the test and for the grade of the module 1. So 8.5 over 10 is a very good result for you. 13.5 over 16 is a very good result in a certain sense for us, for the team of the ACADEMICA project.
So now, thank you very much for your attendance, and thank you. We will invite you to follow the other modules, to go through the other tests, and to compile the assessment, because it is very important for you, and to participate in the other virtual classes that will be arranged during the e-course. If you have some problems, some questions, please let us know through the forum, through the email, and so on. or through the national coordinator for each country. So for now, thank you very much, and see you, we hope, soon.
Thank you. Yeah.
And goodbye, and have a nice day.
Bye-bye, have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hmm?